Let's do this. Let's just talk about all the stuff. Baseball news out of Mississippi State. I think that's probably really big.
Should probably start there, yeah.
So, official announcements coming earlier today that both Landon Sims and Stone Simmons are done for the year. Partially torn UCLs for both of them. Landon Sims, in a statement on Twitter, thanked Mississippi State fans, talked about how great the last 3 years have been. He mentioned the way that he had been welcomed and loved into the Mississippi State family, from Coach Polk and Rafael Palmeiro to Tanner Allen and Will Bednar, and says that he's going to try and pay it forward with that same type of love to everybody that he comes across in Mississippi State gear or as a Mississippi State fan. He said, unfortunately, I'll be undergoing surgery on a torn UCL this week and will miss the remainder of my junior season. Although this is not the way I want my season and possibly Bulldog career to end, I know that it's part of a bigger plan that might sometimes be hard to understand. So that was the message from Landon Sims. You also had a message a lot like that from Stone Simmons. This from Stone Simmons. On my last pitch during my outing at Tulane, and you remember there's a lot of question marks about why Stone Simmons came out of that game, considering how well he was pitching. On my last pitch during my outing at Tulane, I suffered a torn UCL. I will be undergoing season-ending Tommy John surgery on Wednesday, March 16th. I greatly appreciate your thoughts and prayers. I'm confident that I will be back even stronger. I'm sorry I can no longer help my team on the field this year, but I will shift my focus to being the best teammate I can be. God has a plan, and I trust it. So that is Stone Simmons. And that's heartbreaking. Like, from a baseball standpoint and from a personal standpoint. From a baseball standpoint, it's two really important arms for Mississippi State. None more important than Landon Simmons, obviously. Landon Sims. But Stone Simmons, in the early part of the year, might have been the most reliable piece out of the bullpen. So that's the baseball piece of it. The personal piece of it is this. These guys work so hard. They put in so many hours. Frankly, it goes back to when they're like 6 or 7 or 8 years old and they start playing on these travel ball teams. That's not me correlating travel ball to UCL injuries. That's a different conversation for a different day. Point is, you're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds that have been spending thousands of hours a year for well over a decade to be at the point at which they are right now, pitching on a massive stage, helping a team trying to repeat as national champions. That's a lot of work, a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice that has gone in along the way. And it just comes to a screeching halt. It has become an incredibly common injury for pitchers in baseball. The good news here is the prognosis is good, right? Tommy John surgery is remarkably successful. It takes about a year to come back from, maybe 18 months to where you're 100%. But, Borky, guys are coming back stronger, more durable, and in a lot of cases throwing harder than when they left with the injury in the first place. And so that's hopefully the good news.
Yeah, it's just not what it used to be in terms of career ender, not even anywhere close. I had somebody ask me, does this mean he'll come back next year? It may be, I suppose, but this won't scare off professional teams. It just won't. Not like it used to. It's a shame, though. I mean, aside from the local example, obviously, I think it changes the way people should look at the season and how many wins this team is going to have. But college baseball, as a blow to college baseball, there are a few guys in the sport, because of baseball's dynamics, that are appointment viewing. Like Shohei Ohtani, for example. When you watch it, an Angels game, he's appointment viewing, right? But you get to see him bat 3 times in 3.5 hours. Pitchers are the more reliable appointment viewing people. And college baseball didn't really have that much. But when Landon Sims was pitching, it grabs you. just the energy, obviously the stuff is fantastic, but like the way he pitches as well, it was almost like violence on a baseball field in a good way. You don't get guys like him very much. The way he worked, the stuff combined with the attitude and the action on the mound was appointment viewing type stuff. And so that being out of college baseball, it's a shame for the sport, because he was one of those guys that you can showcase as, this is what makes college baseball great. Watch this dude shove 96 with movement down these guys' throats and then pace around the mound real quick, get back on, and he's ready to work. Just the way he worked, I loved. But people should now change their perspective of what would be a successful season, I think, with these two arms missing. There was already questions about the pitching staff / bullpen, and now it's even thinner for the rest of the season. You were expecting a lot of game one wins in your series now because of who was pitching. You should not expect that anymore. Things like that, it should change your perspective on the season. It should.
Right. I mean, depending on how it goes for Preston Johnson, whether or not Parker Stinnett is able to continue to throw the way that he's been throwing, where does Cade Smith fit into the equation? And then, to me, though, Borky, it's not just about starters, because there's a trickle-down effect here, right? Can Landon Simmons give you 6 innings on Friday? Can he get you into the 7th inning? Can he get you into the 8th inning on Friday? Therefore, preserving your bullpen. Can you hand it off from Landon Sims to Stone Simmons, or to Johnson at the back end, or whatever the plan would have been? Well, now that has to change what the overall plan is. And the question is, are you going to have 2 or 3 or 4 guys step up to replace the 2 that are missing? I think the trickle down is the hard part, right? So let's say Preston Johnson pitches well, but he gives you 4 2/3, and now you got to go to the bullpen sooner. And it taxes your bullpen for the weekend, and that's kind of the area that's been a little bit of a concern for Mississippi State, is the ability to hold leads, the ability to get outs out of the bullpen. An incredibly good week for Parker Stinnett. Co-SEC Pitcher of the Week good after back-to-back starts in which he had 12 strikeouts. Wasn't really helping at the back end, helping a ton at the front end. So maybe that's one of those pieces. Now it's, can he sustain that over the course of the next 10 weeks of the regular season? One piece of good news, State's starting to swing it a little bit better. Callum Clark has had gasoline injected into his veins, and he is on fire right now. And off to a slow start. He is swinging it really, really well. Hunter Hines, really good baseball player. They're going to have to score, though. They're going to have to score.